Welcome back everybody to another video of PDX Aviation. Now today I will be showing you guys another tutorial of how to properly take off an airplane on Infinite Flight. Now Infinite Flight is the exact same simulator I used in my last tutorial. If you haven't checked that out, I'll put the link in the description. You guys can go check that out real quick. So yeah, I'll teach you guys some tricks and tips on how to execute a perfect takeoff on Infinite Flight. Let's get right to it. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I will be teaching you guys how to execute a takeoff like you just saw of that Southwest 737 MAX on Infinite Flight. Now there are 2 to 3 variables that you have to take into consideration, not really take into consideration that you really have to know, not just in Infinite Flight game, but in real life aviation. If you guys aspire to be a pilot. So the first variable is the weight. The weight determines how long you're going to be in the runway. Are you going to take off further down the runway or not so far down, of course. The weight just basically determines how much of the runway are you going to take up. Now, with the weight also comes the rotation speed. The rotation speed is the speed in which you guys are going to pull the side stick or yoke back and continue your takeoff. Now, coming back to the speed again varies depending on the type of aircraft and how much weight you're carrying. Of course, the Cessna 172 is going to take off a lot earlier than a 747. So, again, if you guys just heard me say rotate, there's an explanation behind that. So, when you are flying, if you guys aspire to be a pilot or if you've watched takeoff videos in cockpits, you notice the first officer or captain calling out V1, rotate, and V2. Now, let's start off with V1. So V1 is the speed where there's been a decision made where you can't stop. After you call out the V1, it means you can't stop your takeoff if there's an engine failure. So if there's an engine failure before you say V1, you can safely stop the aircraft before it even leaves the ground. But after V1, you will have to commit to your takeoff. If there's an engine failure, just stay in the pattern, come back around and land. Now Now VR or rotate is the speed where you're going to pull back on the yoke or side stick, and that's when the plane is going to take off. And then V2 is the speed in which you will be able to climb out safely if there's an engine failure. Again, you just have to stay in the pattern, come back around, and land the aircraft. So enough of me talking. Let's get straight to this tutorial. As you guys can see, we are in a different aircraft from last time's tutorial. We are in a 737 next generation aircraft in the United Airlines livery. Looks really cool, really realistic. So let's go back to our camera view over here. So the first thing we're going to do is put the flaps to 5 or 10 degrees. It doesn't matter, wherever your preference is. The next thing we're going to do is go check our weight. So in Infinite Flight, there's 3 ways you can change your weight. You can change the fuel, how much fuel you're using. You can change the passenger weight, how many passengers are on your aircraft. And of course, you can change the cargo weight. Of course, that just determines how much cargo is on your aircraft. So we are first going to start at 50% and 1 to stabilize our engines until our ground speed is about 5 knots. Then we will increase the power to full throttle. Just some words for advice when you guys are pulling back your iPad or your phone when taking off an Infinite Flight. Hold it there. Do not keep on pulling back, as that will cause a stall. As you can see, our rotation speed was at 130 knots and we are off the ground right now. Looks like a very nice takeoff. So my preference in taking off, I like to start off at between 2,500 and 3,000 vertical speed. That's really what the normal airliners do. Some airliners can go less, can go a lot higher. So it's all based on your preference, but for my choice, I like to have my vertical speed on takeoff go between 2,500 feet and 3000. So let's take a look at our replay here real quick to see how we did on our takeoff. I'm going to be going to the tower view just to get a better look at the whole aircraft. So we're not there for rotation speed yet, but looks like we are right about now. So what I was saying earlier about keeping your phone or iPad in the same position while taking off is because, of course, right after takeoff, if you hold it back too much, it can result in a stall right after takeoff, which is bad, and you can tail strike your aircraft, especially in a long air type aircraft like the 787-10, or for this instance, the 737-900. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Everyone have a great week and safe landings.